Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. I am so glad you've joined me this morning, and today is a new week. Today is Sunday, therefore it's a new Torah portion, and the Torah portion for this week is called Chayei Sarah, which means the life of Sarah, and it's taken from Genesis chapter 23, verse 1, going all the way to chapter 25, verse 18. Today, our Torah portion is in chapter 23, verses 1 through 16. That's today's Sidra, that's today's Aliyah, and today's title for the message is, I don't owe you a dime. So let's go to Genesis chapter 23, read verses 1 through 5, then skip down and read verses 11 through 16. Here we go. Now Sarah's life was 127 years, the years of Sarah's life. Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep over her. Then Abraham rose from before his dead one, and spoke to the sons of Heth, saying, I am an outsider and a sojourner among you. Give me a gravesite among you, so that I may bury my dead from before my presence. The sons of Heth answered Abraham and said to him, Listen to us, my lord. You are a prince of God among us. Bury your dead in the best of our graves. None of us among us will withhold his grave from you. So go and bury your dead. Now let's jump down to verse 11. No, my lord, listen to me. The field, I hereby give it to you. Also the cave that is in it, I hereby give it to you. In the eyes of the sons of my people, I hereby give it to you. Bury your dead one. Then Abraham bowed down before the people of the land and spoke to Ephron in the ears of the people of the land, saying, But if only you would please listen to me. I hereby give the price of the field. Accept it from me, that I may bury my dead one there. So Ephron answered Abraham and said to him, My lord, listen to me. A land worth 400 silver shekels. What is that between me and you? Bury your dead. Abraham heard Ephron, so Abraham weighed out to Ephron the silver that he had spoken of in the ears of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver at the merchant's rate. Now, if you dig into the price of 400 shekels and what land was worth back then, add inflation and put it into a modern day price, we're talking about a ridiculous, overinflated, overblown price for this field and for this cave for Abraham to bury his dead wife Sarah in. But you know what? Abraham did it anyway. He was glad to pay that exorbitant amount to bury his dead wife. Nothing was too good for Sarah. And burying the dead, it's considered one of the last good deeds anyone can do for someone else. Why? Because that dead person can't repay you. A lot of times when you do something good for someone else, they'll just naturally do something nice for you in return. They feel like they owe you something, and they want to show their appreciation for the good deed you did for them, so in turn they do something nice for you. But a dead person can't do that. It's a good deed that could never be repaid by the one that you're doing the good deed for. Abraham also believed in paying his own way, and maybe that's where Paul got the idea for Romans 13:8, where it says, Owe no one anything except to love one another. For the one who loves another has fulfilled the Torah, has fulfilled the law. So for Abraham, it wasn't about getting a good deal. It wasn't about money. And by this time, Abraham was rich. He had a lot of servants. He had a lot of flocks and cattle and livestock. And that equaled money, dollar signs. And the sons of Heth knew that, and Abraham was just a foreign resident living among them. And this is one of the very first places where Abraham kind of stakes his claim to the land, because God says, I promise, I'm going to give this to you. So this is where he plants his flag and says, yep, this place is mine, and the surrounding areas will soon be mine according to the will of God. But money was no object to Abraham, and he didn't want to owe no man anything. Because when somebody gives you something for free, usually back then, it's like they kind of owned you. They can kind of hang that free thing over your head and say, see, you need to do this for me because I did this for you, see? So Abraham wanted to pay for the burial plot for Sarah. Not only that, we see during the battle of the 5 kings versus the 4 kings, when the king of Sodom said, here, I'm going to give all this stuff to you, Abraham, as a reward for your exploits in battle. He says, I'm not even going to take a shoestring from you. I'm not even going to take a sandal strap from you, because if I do, then you'll be able to say, oh, well, I made Abraham rich. And he's like, no, I'm not going to owe man anything. So that's the way we should be as believers in our life, is to fulfill Romans 13:8. Owe no one anything except to love one another. For the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. So what's the motivation of keeping the 613 commandments of the Mosaic Law? The motive is love. If you don't do it out of love, it doesn't count. And don't get freaked out by that number 613. You just take 6 plus 1 plus 3, that equals 10. That represents the 10 commandments. The 10 sum up the 613. So what's 10? 1 plus 0, 1. What's the greatest commandment? Yep, you got it. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. If you're living your life for Messiah Yeshua and living it out of love, by default, you're most likely going to be keeping the commandments that apply to you, that God expects you to keep. So let's love one another. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Have a great week. Shalom and Shavua Tov.